How are you going to pull that off?
By whatever means necessary. She's such a feisty, love of life, different multi-layered film, So often the princesses are all the pretty dresses, and they're in the castle, and they're waiting to be the damsels in distress, and she's not that. And I think it's good for young girls and women alike, and to see a character like Marina.
This girl wouldn't know how to fix a broken fingernail.
Honestly, you are the most boorish, pig-headed man I've ever met.
Hey, lady, I've seen the highborn boys your type hangs out with. I'm the only man you've ever met.
You had a lot of men around you, boys and men, when you were growing up. Is that why you identified so much with Marina?
I think so. I mean, I really, my brothers are my best friends, and I have to just join in, There was no prissiness, If you can't beat them, join them.
Did you like that?
I liked being part, I couldn't say I was a tomboy, because I loved all the girly things, and I still do, I wear my mum's shoes, the makeup, the jewelry, everything. But I certainly had to muck in, and I wasn't afraid to get, down there with them and beat it out, literally.
Yeah, sometimes you get hurt though when you play with those boys rough like that.
No, I used to say, my father, I remember my father coming in once and saying, okay, you guys, you boys can't hit her in those areas, and you can't kick him down there. And that was the end of the conversation.
I'm coming with you. Catherine Zeta-Jones was the first voice cast for Sinbad almost 4 years ago. The extended period of time allowed Zeta-Jones to put her own imprint on the character.
You go in and sometimes 6 months later, then like a year later, you go in and do a few scenes, and then they change it a bit, and you can see the character really forming. And so I was part of the conception, which I like. I wanted to do this one for my son. I wanted him to know what, Mommy and Daddy actually do for a living. And I thought this would be an opportunity for him to hear me and to get a sense of me on film, and that I'm a different character, and...
Has he seen it?
Not yet. And as a mother, I just wanted to watch it first to see what was going on before I cart him off and pay my dollars.
What do you think he'll think of it? What do you think he'll say?
I think he'll be, fascinated by it, because I do limit what is viewing, but his imagination is wild. I mean, sometimes I have to, calm it down. I think he's going to love it for it's a love story. It's warm. It's got the adventure, the action. I think little girls will like it as well as boys. I think Marina's comes fooling in just as just as much as Sinbad, and so I think it'd be great for girls. But my daughter's too young to see it.
Speaking of your daughter and your son, how's that whole thing going?
Great.
Yeah.
Couldn't have asked for it better.
The transition's
Fantastic.
great. Dylan's okay.
I was worried there for a while. I was. We both were. But he's really come up trumps. He's a good boy.
Yeah.
And he knows to be gentle. And when people come to visit us, he says, "Do you want to come see my sister? Her name is Karis."
Oh. Now you were, I think, 8.5 months pregnant on Oscar night.
Very pregnant.
Do you remember much about that?
I can't remember the last year. I mean, with the whole year, it was like a fantastic adventure, whirlwind, a bit like Sinbad. It was an amazing time that it wasn't until a few weeks ago I woke up and went, what happened?
Oh my God.
That was great.
You mean from the entire night, the singing the songs?
The whole year, and then to sing at the Oscars with Queenie, which was, we did question our sanity at one moment when we looked at each other just as the band struck up. I did look at her, and I wasn't going to tell you on national TV what we said to each other, because it was like, what were we thinking about?
Were you, look, I've been 8.5 months pregnant before. I couldn't walk up a flight of steps without feeling like I was going to have an asthma attack. How did you sing?
It was a bit different because the diaphragm's all squashed up there, But my doctor was very funny, as I went to see him for a checkup a few days later, and he went, "You didn't tell me that part."
Merely.